TFT is an auto chess game developed by Riot, the creators of League of Legends. The goal of TFT is to The goal of TFT is The goal of TFT is to be the last person standing out of 8 players through econing, building strong team comps, and buying stronger champions!
Let's start off with this. What is AutoChess? It's a genre of game where players gradually build a team to fight against other teams. Specifically in TFT, the way you build a team is through a money system. So how do you get stronger? In TFT, each person builds their team using synergies, or shared traits between champions that give bonuses to the team when the champions are played together. For example, in this game, I go a comp called Space Pirates. The Space Pirate trait is that if a Space Pirate kills a unit, there's a chance that the unit will drop gold. Which brings us back to a pivotal point of TFT, the money system. But we'll get to that in another video. For absolute beginners, the biggest thing you should focus on is creating an early stable team. A stable team is a team that can win against other teams, but might not be the best team in the lobby. The earlier you stabilize, the easier it is for you to build your team because you won't lose as much health while you econ. So, the first tip is to try to stabilize. In other videos, I will go over key concepts such as econing, positioning, meta, which is the strongest or most popular builds, and other topics, which will aid you in your journey to learn more about TFT. But for now, I'll just explain TFT, show a little bit of it, and explain why you should play TFT. There are two different types of players when it comes to games, especially esports. There are casual players, and there are competitive players. So, if you're a casual player, will TFT be for you? Yes. TFT is a low mechanical game. You don't have to press a lot of buttons or move your mouse very quickly. In that way, it is very low in terms of needing mechanical skill.
Low mechanics.
So, if you want to play a chill game that doesn't hurt your hands and is relaxing, TFT is definitely the game for you. But what about competitive players? Well, I would argue that TFT is not only good for casual players, but just as good, if not better, for competitive players. For one thing, TFT recently was announced to have a growing competitive scene, which means that Riot, the developers of the game, are going to invest more resources into making the game more competitive, which means they're putting more money into tournaments and giving out possible sponsorships to people who are streaming TFT. So the competitive scene looks good. Why else would it be good for competition? Well, although there is a very low ceiling for mechanical skill, there is a very high ceiling for positional gameplay, adapting to different people's game styles, and the gameplay has a very high skill ceiling. So even though it's good for casual players, it is also very rewarding for competitive players because competitive players can climb, they can get stronger, they can see a difference in their skills, they can see a difference in how strong they get. Why else might TFT be a good competitive game, or be a good game to get into right now? If you are a competitive gamer, well, it's new. It came out less than a year ago, and a lot of things are still being discovered about it. A lot of things are still being understood about it. The top players have changed between all of the sets, all of the different iterations, all of the different changes that the developers put into the game, have seen significant changes in the way people play the game. So the game's still not understood completely. It's still new. So new people have a higher chance of catching up to other people's skill, as opposed to other video games such as League of Legends, where players have played for so long that there's a very saturated market and it's more difficult to stand out. So, there are multiple reasons why you might want to play TFT competitively. But, most importantly, is TFT an entertaining game? Is it a game that will make you want to come back for more? Well, it depends how you play.
The goal of TFT is to be the last person standing.
TFT 모바일 부동 동작 뚜로로로 갤럭시 부동 동작 또 떨어져 허구와 날라다타